Welcome to Lickin' on Lending, the podcast that dives deep into the heart of the mortgage industry. Your host, David Lickin, bringing you the latest insights, trends, and updates from the world of mortgages. Whether you're a seasoned industry veteran or just getting started, this show is your go-to source for all things mortgage. On Lickin' on Lending, we're not just about delivering information, we're about delivering it in a way that's lively, engaging, and yes, even entertaining. You'll hear from a wide range of regular contributors, experts who make the complexities of the mortgage business not just understandable, but enjoyable. Our goal? To keep you informed on the operational aspects of the industry. Everything from regulations and compliance to technology and market trends, without ever being boring. We believe that staying up to date doesn't have to be dull, and our interactive conversational style ensures you'll be hooked from the get-go. So get ready for detailed discussions, lively debates, and a wealth of knowledge that will help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of the mortgage industry. Let's get started. This is Lickin' on Lending. Now your host, David Lickin.
Listeners, we're back with the creators of Angel AI, and I said that plural. Yes, Pavan is the guy that has been the brainchild, but behind every good man is a strong, amazing woman, and Jennifer is here with us. They've been partners. Pavan, you and Jennifer have been partners in the business for how long?
1998, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
And Jennifer had just immigrated to the country. So she started working for me, and then I think a year later, she took a year off. She had her baby, beautiful baby, Sunita. And now she's a beautiful young woman.
That's so awesome. That's right. By the way, we should tell everyone you are in Puerto Rico, so we have that background. We're able to pick up a little of the background. I'll be there with you this Saturday for the Diwali party. That's really exciting. Jennifer can't make it, but I'm bummed about that. But talk a little bit about this Diwali party, Pavan. Okay. What is the Diwali party? What is this about, and what are we celebrating?
Okay, the Diwali party is Saturday, so in a couple of days here. And I'm so excited. We got, I think, 100 people flying in from all over the country. You got realtors, loan officers, business leaders, investment bankers, you name it. It's just an incredible. We do a celebration every year. We started off something small about 5 years ago at my house with our local friends and family in the community. And then over the years, grown every year, got bigger. This year, I think we have 1,300 people registered.
I'm really excited. I was there. Yeah. My first time was there last year, your last party at your house, and it was epic. It was amazing. What a blast. So I'm looking forward to it. You've gotten so big now, you have to take it out of your house and put it elsewhere. But we're here really to talk about some really important initiatives that are going on. Some of the things I want to talk about, Pavan, is I want to talk about how should we be looking at LOs? We have a message to one of the people that's using this. I want to indirectly speak to that person. But also, we have Twin Angel. I want to talk about that. But I'll let you kick this off with some of the important things that you see going on. And then
there's a lot to talk about. So I'm going to go really fast. So first, I'm going to back up a little for the Diwali party. This year's theme is called the Diwali Avatar Party. And if you go to the website, angelai.com/Diwali24, DIWALI 24, and you can read all about it. But the reason we call it the Diwali Avatar Party, because first of all, the word avatar is a Sanskrit word, and although it's used frequently in the AI and the computer technology industry these days, so it's a great double meaning there. And what we're launching at this party, actually we launched it in Singapore a couple of weeks ago, but we're launching it more to realtors and to the larger consumer community, is the Angel Twin technology, where each one of us can have our own twin, our own avatar, but an AI avatar. And it is an amazing technology because here's what's going to happen. And I don't want to scare people, but I have to say the truth. The truth is that 800 million people are potentially displaced by artificial intelligence by 2030. Was it $15 trillion that the economy will be added by 2030? And so we need to come up with a solution. Most valuable thing each one of us has is our knowledge, our data. I'm going to throw another stat at you. We all use Google, and most people don't realize that each one of us has given Google $60,000 worth of data. That's why Google is a multi-trillion-dollar company, because they've extracted $60,000 of value from each one of us. Okay. Now, wouldn't you like that data to be yours? And so that $60,000 of value goes to you and not to Google. So what we're seeing here is a shift. It's not that 800 million people are going to suddenly be unemployed. No, if we are smart and come up with solutions, come up with AI technology, if we could take the most valuable thing each one of us has is our data, is our knowledge, is our brains. And if we take our brains and put it on the blockchain so that it's secure and it belongs to you and only you, and no one else has access to it but you, and you have your private keys in your wallet. And then that chain, your data on your chain drives your AI twin, your angel twin. So now you send your twin to work while you sit in Puerto Rico on the beach. Right? That's the future. It's actually the future for humanity is so exciting because we're not supposed to be robots. And most of our jobs make us into robots. It's an unnatural condition. Right? We are free spirits. We got to take this whole paradigm and we can fix the mess that the Industrial Revolution did. The Industrial Revolution did a lot of great things. None of this modern life would exist without it. But at the same time, it did a lot of bad things. We have some really bad problems in society today, which we can now fix with our technology. And the biggest problem we have in society is look at the families that are being broken because both husband and wife or both partners are
working. Yeah.
Okay, both partners are working and there's not enough time for their kids. And with rising inflation, there's even less time and more stress and money. Like the number one, I think 42%, I forget the stat, I think it's like 40 or 50% of all marriages fail due to financial pressures.
I want to break that down a little bit, and then I want to get Jennifer's thoughts on this as well, because what's going on here, what you're talking about is duplicating yourself. And I was talking to Sri, who you introduced me to, who's also there. He says it's very possible for you to avatar yourself and avatar your brain, basically duplicate your brain. I'm trying to figure out the right way to say it. I'm not sure I'm saying it correctly,
right.
But basically take your brain, take your knowledge base, put it into a computer and then send it out. You could be making infinite number of phone calls, you with your voice, even with your image. And now what Sri was talking about was with your voice. Now what you're talking about is adding avatars to this. And there we go into.
And with your angel, you will be able to do a podcast with my twin and you won't be able to tell the difference. It is that good.
Yeah, and it was Sri. He actually did that for me the other day. He said, Dave, we listened to 3 of your podcasts on Looking on Leadership, and we had it create a script, and it had it read it. It had it duplicated my voice. It was amazingly accurate. Now, no video yet, but it was amazingly accurate. So yes, I looked at the content that we could generate, but it does start with a human. It's not getting rid of the human, but it's reprogramming. We need to rethink what we do, and we become content creators, generators. And we are
actually not. Is that accurate? I will correct that. That's the old paradigm. That's the Web 2, Facebook paradigm where we're content creators. Now we are knowledge accumulators. Okay.
Knowledge accumulators. Okay.
Right.
So contrast the two. I'm still locked in this thing.
So the more you live, the more you really live as a human being and interact and learn and have conversations with other people and create opinions and form ideas, right? The more you're a human, the more knowledge you accumulate and more original ideas you generate. You don't generate original ideas sitting in a box. We put our kids behind these desks for 8 hours a day. That doesn't create creativity, right? Yeah. That's Pink Floyd throwing kids in the meat grinder. It's another brick in the wall, right? We need our kids to be out free and playing and engaging and learning about the world, right? And that's when they create knowledge and we create ideas and creativity, right? And that content, that knowledge belongs to you, belongs to each individual. Don't freely give it away to Google and Facebook and whatever. Let's take that knowledge, right? And the beauty of Angel Twin, this is where the real magic happens, is that we've designed it in such a way that knowledge that's in your brain can flow through Angel AI onto the chain into your secure wallet. So you own it. Angel AI becomes a conduit, a gateway. So it's easy to go from your head
to
your wallet.
Let me ask you a question on this. I just discovered last night that I had turned on personalization mode on Chat GPT. And so it's been learning and downloading. And I just
Yeah,
went over that this morning
yeah,
and looked at all of the
right.
knowledge it's gaining
Right.
about me. And
You
yeah.
just
And
gave it
so,
away. You just gave it away. Right. So you turn on personalization mode, you're making Sam Altman that much richer, and Bill
oh,
Gates.
really?
You,
So I should probably
that's
shut that off then.
that's right. That's right. That's it's a trap. That's a trap. Okay.
Interesting.
Right. With Angel AI, that mode, we don't have a personalization mode, but with Angel Twin, that knowledge will go not into our database, but into your wallet. Okay, so what we also have released, right? We're also have released, and you're going to see me. I'm at the North American Blockchain Summit in Dallas on the 22nd of this month. So NorthAmericanBlockchainSummit.com. I'm the keynote speaker, and I'm speaking there with Mike Pompeo, former Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, Pat Toomey, the former Prime Minister of Canada, and a bunch of former senators. And I'm talking specifically about the value of having your own wallet that has your own data that controls your own AI, what they call artificial general intelligence. That's the fancy term for an AI that is so good that it's completely like it does, as far as you can concerned, it does like everything a human can do. Now they're saying that it'll be ready, and I think it'll be ready in about 3 years. So you need to start collecting your data now, and each one of us can have our own AI, our personal AI, right? That's secured with our own knowledge. So that's truly our twin. And that's doing the grunt work for us so that we can go out and continue to gain and knowledge and be creative.
So we can do that. So how do we start collecting? I want to go shut that off. I saw a switch that I can not only shut it off and have them stop, but I can clear it out so they don't have that. So
The terms very carefully. Once they have it, they got it.
Jennifer, you're chuckling away at this because I want to get your perspective. You've run operations there at SunWest for a long time. You've been significant to this operation in so many ways. Anything that really gets done there is done by you. And I don't want to discredit Pavan. He's got the vision guy. You're the get her done one in the group without question.
Yeah, discredit me all you want because she's the brains of the operation. I'm just the good looks. Although she's pretty good looking too.
So when you hear this, Jennifer, what starts coming alive to you? Especially, I'm thinking about underwriters. I'm thinking about processors and how each one of them uniquely communicate with the customers. How does this start coming alive from an operational standpoint for you?
Sure, that's a great segue into what the actual implementation of what Pavan was actually talking about is, right? He hit the nail on the head when he said that the data that you are giving away and things like that, right? But why do we have an underwriter or why do we have a processor, right? We're expecting a human to do something that's impossible. Like in the mortgage world, we all know there's like tens and thousands of pages of guidelines across the various agencies we have, the federal guidelines, the state guidelines, the agency guidelines, all of that, right? We're talking about hundreds and thousands of pages. And one single loan file on an average, how many pages are we talking about here? Like hundreds of pages? So we're expecting one human being to remember all these hundreds and thousands of pages of guidelines and compare that against the hundreds of pages on a single loan that they're getting.
Yes.
That is impossible.
It's an
impossible situation. It's not going to happen. And that is where this AI that we're talking about comes into play. It's not the generalized AI. It is the more specific AI that Angel brought into play here. That is how Angel AI came into play. So
that is really exciting.
Exactly. So that is why you can't just take your own LOS, whatever LOS you have, and you think you can just integrate it with a version of ChatGPT and be able to offer an AI. It's not going to work. Got to really train her, or I say her because we call Angel AI her. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But we have to train an AI to do what I just said. Compare the guidelines from hundreds and thousands of pages over 40 years, not something that happened today, yesterday, day before yesterday. and still be current as of the second, because we all know how the guidelines change and change fast in the industry as well. You have to keep it up to date and train the AI from the past and still be able to offer a real-time solution for a customer. Right?
Actually,
That's
we're
what
coming up
operations
on
is all about.
45 years, actually.
45 years.
45.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's
Wow.
what we do at SunWest and with Angel AI, because operations is not really operations. It's an implementation of the technology to make it easy for a human to do something that we expect them to do, which is impossible.
We're asking for superhuman results and from people that, and it's just not, it's fully, and that's why we have the defects that we do in our loan production process,
Exactly.
is because it's something that is virtually impossible. It's a miracle that we don't have more issues in that.
Exactly.
People work so hard on that. But this really gets to something I want, we've talked about this, Pavan, before, and I want your thoughts, and Jennifer, to add into this. If we're taking 45 years of historical data, there is a bias that we have found that can seep in there. But one of the things that you're committed to doing is getting bias out, especially when it comes to fair lending, which is something Pavan has talked to on previous podcasts. We'll put links to those so you go, listeners, you go listen. But how are you dealing with the bias of historical data out as you move forward? That has got to be a challenge in and of itself.
That's not a challenge for us because our DNA, we're the home of fair lending, right? So my father set that tone back in 1980. And both this, number one, is our values and our ethics. And number two, I guess part of it, I hate to put it in these terms, but maybe it's because we're first generation immigrants ourselves, that maybe that helped shape our view of the world. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a combination of the above. But at the end of the day, our focus has always been on making sure, the golden rule is making sure everyone that can afford the house, that wants the house and loves the house, gets the house, right?
Yeah.
And the second rule that we always followed is lend the money to the customer as if it's your own money. Because in the mortgage business, and especially in a federally insured bank business, you forget that because it's somebody else's money always at the end. And people forget that. And we've seen, if you look at all the bank failures and mortgage company failures that's ever happened, the mortgage companies and banks go down for two reasons. Number one, bad underwriting, right? And number two is bad trading. They start gambling with the markets. And these two basic disciplines, if you carry, you're going to have a clean shop. You're going to run well. And that's why we've been in business 45 years.
And it also, there's something there that I'm going to remind our listeners about. In fact, those that have not listened to the interview I did with Jennifer, you've got to go listen to that, folks, because it's leadership, Pavan. One of the stories that Jennifer told, Jennifer, you recall us, is the time where you were doing working secretary of marketing, and it was a oops, and it was it was a huge mistake that had a huge dollar. It was a mistake that had a huge dollar consequence.
It was one mistake with a huge dollar consequence. And when I say huge dollar consequence, I'm talking about one whole month's of salary for the entire organization, right? That's how big of an impact it was. And yes, I do have to speak about leadership here because one, yes, the DNA, and we all were learned from day one or taught from day one about what Pavan said. Lend only if it is your own money and you are willing to lend your own money, then figure out a way to make it happen. That's one thing that started from the DNA. And two, a person is not evaluated based on the mistake they're made. Instead, how do they deal with that mistake they made and what do they learn from that mistake and how they implement what they do after they made that mistake? That's what defines you as an individual in this organization.
And it defines the leadership of an organization.
Exactly.
Jennifer. That was such a good moment. I remember you told me in that interview that we did, and I don't want to give the whole interview away because I want people to go back and listen to it, but you said you went in to tell Pavan, you said, I'm certain I'll be back. I think you even said you called your husband, I'll probably be coming home. I'm going to get fired. This is going to be horrible. You felt horrible because I know how committed you are to this family and to this business and specifically to SunWest. And it was devastating. But you had the biggest shock of your life. Go ahead. You tell that part.
I would really like to share that here because all I did was I screwed up and I walked into Pavan's office and I said, Pavan, I want to say something. Like, I lost so much money. And the immediate is, okay, what happened? And I told him what happened. Okay, all right. Are we making sure that it's not happening again? Yes. What is it? And lay down the steps of what is. Okay, let's move on. I was like, that's it? It's like, that's it. Nothing else? Nothing else. So
Not,
if it was another
not like go clean it, and
organization,
here's a box and clean out your desk. I hope you've learned your lesson for the
exactly.
next time. It wasn't that.
No, no, I was ready to pack up and go because it, I lost money that could have written the payroll for that entire month for the whole organization and wiped it off in literally
Yeah,
seconds. And here I am
yeah,
24 years later and
yeah.
still
And the leader of the
working with the
organization.
same leader and only
Yes.
doing better than what I was at that time.
Yeah.
So,
And,
yes.
and Pavan said earlier, and he said that, but I want to make sure it's really, we all recognize it, and what happens there. Pavan is the guy that architects thing. You're the one that builds it and makes it happen. And it's, I just love the partnership between the
I
two of you, the faith he has between the two of
I
you.
do want to bring this up because what you said about what is there in the industry, right? How are we going to
Yeah.
learn and advance at home of fair lending? It's not just for lending, and I have to mention this here. Even in the organization, right? I'm a minority woman and who just
Yes.
came into the country, an immigrant, like maybe less than a year, but there's no reason for him to listen to me and honor what my thoughts are. He did that. That is what leadership is about.
That's so
And if you
huge. Yeah.
have that in your DNA, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter whether it's your employee or it's your customer, you're going to treat them all the same way. And
Yeah.
that's why
And
I've been able to work all these years with him and been risen to the level that I've risen, right? So
yeah.
that's a testament to what we give back to the community. I
But
am a part
there's
of recipient as well.
Yeah, yeah, and part of the thing that's is a part of the story, and we don't have time to get into this day, but I just realized, but there's something in you that you did not let that defeat you. You realize you were given grace and mercy. You
Yes.
recognize that you can come back, but so many people at that moment go, "I'm a failure," and they start self-talking themselves out into a habit where they get them out. We got to come back to that topic someday, Jennifer, because I think that's a wonderful story. You somehow rose out of that one incident, which was a big incident, but you rose up and did not let that define you. And so kudos to you for how you responded and how you came through that. So I think that's a wonderful part of the story. Let's get back to Angel A, to Angel Twin, because I'm really fascinated about this, especially a lot of people, Pavan, you hit on something really interesting. By the way, I hope the weather gets better when I'm there on Saturday and what I'm looking at there over the background, over your shoulder, because it's looking pretty foreboding there as far as the rainstorm. So it was beautiful last year when I was there. It was absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, hope that gets out of the system and gets back to normal good weather. What I want to talk about is, you know, a lot of people are, when loan officers, I'm thinking of one particular individual that we all know. The loan office, there's such a fear to deal with loan officers. There's such a fear to manage them and manage them effectively. And I tell you, Pavan, that is something you have figured out really well. And you guys have teamed up together. Good loan officers thrive there, and bad loan officers are gone. And I think that is something that is, I would like to have you share a little bit about, and how does Angel Twin give lift to this or solve this problem, and where the consumer gets the best version of every loan officer in your company.
Okay, I don't know if I solve any management magic here on managing loan officers. I think I just got old and grumpy. It's really a simple solution, right? Because you have to think customer first. And who is your customer? The customer is that borrower. And if you design your operations and your technology and your systems where everything is about the borrower, number one is about the
Yes.
borrower, then number two, the realtor, and then number three, the loan officers. If you focus it that way, and the spotlight's on the borrower, then everything will happen automatically. And then what happens is you automatically filter out loan officers who are not putting the borrower at the center of their life.
Yeah,
Okay?
too many times they've got their commission check sitting in the
Yes,
center of
yes,
their life.
right.
And
Yeah,
it's all, what about me? Yeah.
yeah. So I hate loan officers with commission bread. So get those guys out. And when your culture is that way, when your ethos is that way, they automatically, those loan officers will just not even apply. And that's okay.
Yeah, I don't mind that. You don't mind that reputation
Yeah,
getting out there because they won't even apply there.
yeah.
That's a great.
So it's fine. So it's self-fulfilling. And then for the loan officers who are here now with Angel Twin, to ask the second half of your question, now with Angel Twin, they can multiply themselves infinitely. Right. So every loan officer will have their own twin. So imagine they will be on the website. If they're partnered with a realtor, there's a listing. So their twin will be able to talk to customers as they look at the listing. Imagine an iPad or a big screen at open house where you can talk to the twin of that loan officer, where a customer walking into open house would talk to the twin of the loan officer. And if the realtor can have a twin as well. Right. So when you go on the listing site, you'll have a twin of the loan officer, the twin of the realtor, and you could literally have a conference call with the AI twins of both of these people at the same time, a video call like we're doing right now. You can have a video call with their twins 24/7. Right. And one of the things that we did recently, a few months ago, is the number one wholesale executive in the country, his name is Justin Simpers. He joined us about 4 or 5 months ago. And the twin was a big part of it. So we've already launched a twin for Justin Simpers. It's called AskSimpers.ai. Okay. And so it's a text-based twin at this point. And very soon, before the end of the year, he's going to have Justin Simpers' video interactive voice twin. So for Justin, I don't know everything. He's a very good AE. He knows the regs and guidelines inside out. He's the best I've seen. But he still gets stumped. And my twin is superhuman. It's my personality, everything I know, and it's got the superhuman brain. It's like everyone can have a superhuman clone of themselves, right? So that's the magic.
I want to make sure that people listening to this get the grasp, or get the picture of this. You're talking about cloning someone's personality and looks, expression, the way they talk, and then you're adding the Angel AI brain with all its knowledge into the mix. I see both. I'm fine with Pavan nodding. That's good. But if I see Jennifer nodding, then I can feel even better about it because I know she's the one that made it all happen. So I want to have our listeners grab a hold of that. The future of lending and the future of mortgage loan originators is going to be going to this, where someone who can embrace this technology, not get afraid of it and try to run from it or ignore it or fear it, is going to be enhanced. I'm thinking of Jennifer Martinez, I'm glad she and her fiance are going to be at the Diwali party, get to meet her in person. Nancy out in California. I mean, many of the top retail loan originators are recognizing this. An increasing number of banks and originators. Quantic Bank, we just had them on the podcast not that long ago talking about how they threw away their entire tech stack to come all in on Angel AI. This is happening. It's happening. You've got to be patient, Pavan. You've got to be one of the most patient people on the planet because you've been working on this for how many? You and Jennifer have been working on this for how many years?
For decades. 20 plus years. The core engine, and we talked about in the last podcast, the core engine in what you would call an LOS, but it's really an AI engine that manages loan transactions. That algorithm, I designed the algorithm in the early 90s. And that algorithm is still the key part. That's what makes it all work. That's what makes 1,000 different conditions coming in at the same time all get processed simultaneously. I think we just ran the numbers for October. The numbers October, we're getting 2 documents a second being dropped into Angel AI. 2 documents a second. Think about it.
Right. That is staggering.
Right. And last month alone, we had 60, almost 6,400 new user accounts created. And half of those were loan officers, a quarter plus, maybe 30% were realtors, and the rest we don't know. They didn't specify. Okay, so at this rate of growth, in a few months, every single loan officer in the industry will have an Angel AI account. Every single realtor in the country will have an Angel AI account, right? And, it will be there. It'll be their go-to place.
And then you're going to add the Angel Twin. But I get that from the standpoint of who's coming on at the rate of the growth of what that's going to look like. Jennifer, how do you see this transforming?
Yeah,
people that sit in your job and in your role.
Before I go into speaking about people at my job or my role, I'd really like to speak about as a consumer, right? And you talked about being impatient or Pavan being very patient, right?
Yeah.
I never understood how patient Pavan has been because I've become very impatient now. And I do want to share this. I know it might be a little bit time consuming, a little bit derailing, but very relevant.
Mhm.
I was a mortgage consumer within the last 30 days, right? Pavan
That's
talked about my
right.
daughter, and we
Yes, this is a
purchased.
great story. I'm so glad you brought it
Exactly.
up.
Okay,
So,
I need to clarify something. So SunWest, we have a policy. We've had it for
yes,
forever. Our policy is that if you're a decision maker at the company, you cannot do a loan within the company. Right?
correct.
You
Okay.
have, in other words, SunWest will do employee loans, but never for a key decision maker, because
Right.
the optics are so bad. And I don't understand how other companies do it. Like, how can they do loans for their own executives? Because there's so much, even the impression of conflict of interest. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
you had a policy of that. So how did you overcome that with using Angel AI then?
we didn't. That's why I want to talk about this because not being able to use Angel AI made me very impatient. And I keep saying, why is
I see.
anyone not using Angel AI as a consumer,
So
as a loan originator or anything, right?
yeah,
I'm getting very impatient now.
Jen went online to an online lender.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have
Oh
to. So I have to go
yeah.
to an online lender.
So
And
this isn't a story about you got this done at SunWest. You were forced because of the company policy to go elsewhere, and the experience was torturous.
experience was torturous and makes me feel very impatient about everybody else who's not using Angel AI. Why on earth? And again, I'm not speaking with a bias because Angel AI is our baby, but I'm not
Right.
speaking with that bias. I'm speaking as a consumer. Every step of the way, the challenges that I faced, starting from simple data entry and and a unique situation like a co-signer on a loan. I'm not a.
That's not so unique. Actually,
It's not unique, right?
Jen was co-signer for her daughter buying her first house. So
So
Jen's a
I'm
Okay.
a
co-signer.
co-signer, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't get the data into the system that I'm a co-signer. I couldn't get a 1003 correct for 3 days. It's not even a point when you're using Angel AI. You say I want to be a co-signer, bang, it's done in nanoseconds, right? And I'm waiting 3 days here. And on top of that, I'm sitting here, I know what the decision on my loan is going to be. But if it was a regular consumer, number one, I couldn't even get the data correct in the system for 3 days. And then
Wow.
they have to review my documents, process my documents another 3 days. So it's about 6 to 7 days before I can even get a decision on my file. And I'm a consumer who would have been very impatient, very lot of mental torture. What is going to happen? What is going to happen? What is going to 6 days is a ton of time.
That's a
We
lot.
complain about 1 hour. Some documents take 1 hour or 90 minutes to calculate the income. That is too long. What are we going to do to make this different, right? So from there to someone in my role, the AI, and Pavan will talk about cell technology as well, a system that has been built on the knowledge that she has gained over the last 45 years and
Wow.
continuing to learn on a daily basis is very important so that as a
Yes.
head of operations of a mortgage company, as Pavan said, you have to focus on who your customer is. In this case, it's your consumer. If you cannot offer a solution to a consumer to an already mentally torturous process, which is buying a property, if you're not able to give them a peace of mind when they are trying to fulfill their life dream, you don't serve a purpose in your role. And
And the
that is
reality
why,
is, if people do not start making this shift, Jennifer,
yes,
they're going to, like you, if you now being, let's just say, take you out of your role, you had no that knowledge, and yet you then had another experience, and you, as a consumer, were doing business with SunWest. Why would anyone go back to that other lender? And I
exactly.
think that what's so important here is while we're talking about AI, talking about SunWest, intelligence and AI, what's going on. Yes, you guys are a sponsor, but really the message here to our listeners is our industry is dramatically changing. We now have a tool. This tool is called Angel AI. You can learn about it by going to angelai.com, or you can start using it, the full product, for free by going to askangel.ai. I just want to slip that in so people understand. But this is transforming the industry. Again, I want to go, that's such a great story. And you got the loan done, but finally,
I did, but if it was someone who had a weak heart, I don't know. Every step of the way, it's a very sequential process, and
Yeah.
there's so many hard stops across the path of buying and closing that loan. I felt what a consumer in a different place which doesn't have an AI that is not just an AI, but is able to make an informed decision and be able to give you a proper decision. And I do want to make the listeners understand this as well. And I know what I need to submit on my loan, right? Because of my knowledge
Yes.
that I've gained. It so happened that they did not review all the documents
Oh
upfront. So on the eve
no.
of my closing the loan, I was asked for a bunch of things, like for earnest money deposit documentation, just on the eve of closing.
That is
Imagine.
so. How many times we've heard this story for decades and
I know.
decades, Jennifer? This is what
It
goes
It-
on in
hasn't
our
changed.
industry.
it's
It is
because
Exactly.
such a shame, and it has to change.
it's because they didn't read the purchase
Document
contract, the,
addendum properly.
the addendum to the purchase contract. Somebody missed reading that, and again,
Yeah,
the AI doesn't miss it. You drop in a
exactly.
Yeah.
document, it's going to read every word, every page, and they
Yeah,
didn't read
and
the
this
title
is
report either. And
exactly,
actually, I think the loan they closed the loan. They didn't read the title report. Is technically not deliverable to Fannie Mae.
Go
exactly.
ahead. Oh my gosh.
But
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
their problem. That's their problem.
That's their.
See,
Yeah.
and that
Well.
yeah, this is what when I was talking about earlier, you're making a human be a superhuman by
Right.
having them review hundreds of pages of your
Yeah, it's not that
documents.
they have bad employees
Nope.
over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that we burden them
Expect
with
more.
so much, and that we've
Yeah.
got to get these superhuman tools to come
Yeah.
in alongside of us and get this in balance. That's such a great point. By the way, kudos to your mom, Jennifer, for co-signing and helping your daughter. I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
I think that is just awesome. I love that part of the story. Pavan, as we look forward, I'm really excited about Angel Twin. Would you share a little bit more about the vision and what the time frame is? Is it a year out, 2 years, 5 years out? When are we going to see the full implementation of this, and what does that again look like? Lay
That's the
the
only
vision
part
out for our.
Pavan is impatient about. So
Yes,
he's patient about everything else, but delivering the tech
Well,
to the consumers,
I was
yeah.
what 3-4 weeks ago.
Good, Jennifer. I love.
3-4 weeks ago, I was in Singapore for Token 2049, which was the biggest blockchain conference every year, and it's where we announced Angel Twin to the world. And it was supposed to be ready then, but then Jennifer, she's a slacker.
Not even close. You're so bad.
he's
Remember,
true though.
We're
Jennifer.
gonna delete.
He's
We'll
true.
delete that out of here.
He is
Not a
true.
slack. Anything but a slack. Anyway, we're supposed.
Yeah, so you remember Jennifer's our CTO, right? Not running operations.
Oh, that's
Operations
right.
is a
It's a
side.
byproduct of yeah.
It's a byproduct of being our CTO. And what's the current timeline, Jen? What do you think? By the end of the year, it'll be in
Yes.
production?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're rolling out the
Yeah.
beta version this week, and
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, cool.
the
Okay.
actual
And
Well,
what is that going to look like, Jennifer? What is a realistic? Bhavan has the vision guy. I want to hear from the person that's
well,
rolling
I
it
can.
out.
Everyone can go and see it for themselves. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you go to the Diwali site, and again, if you all see this before Saturday, and you want to come to the party, all you do is you go to angelai.com/Diwali DIWALI 2424. So angelai.com/Diwali24, and you can go there and register, right? And then on the comments, just put LinkedIn on lending, so that way we know you saw it on LinkedIn lending, and we'll approve you as a guest. And if you
Yeah.
scroll down that page, there's a sample avatar there. It's an avatar of me, so it's my twin.
Outstanding.
Right, and you could see how it would look, and that's an early version. It's going to get a lot better than that. And we also have one of the big influencers in the country already. We've created an avatar for, and his name is Deepak Chopra. Some of you may know him.
Oh,
He's got 20 million followers, and his avatar
wow.
is up and running. It's called digitaldeepak.ai. Okay, and you can fully play with it. And there's a perfect example of how much money this can make you. This can make each of us. He already has 10,000 subscribers that are paying him a monthly fee to talk to his avatar to get coaching from his avatar, and the coaching is just like him. Okay,
Wow.
so they pay a subscription fee to get coaching because he's a wellness coach. So they pay a subscription fee for the wellness
Yeah.
coaching. right? So this is already in production. This is proven, stable technology, right? And all we're doing now is finishing the integration with Angel AI. So could you imagine, like a real estate agent, a loan officer, a coach, a business owner, whatever it is that you do, is like your customers can interact with your avatar, and it's as good as, or almost as good as you. And everything, that knowledge about your avatar, everything that's you, from your expressions to how you would answer something and your nuance, all that nuanced knowledge belongs to you. Doesn't belong to me, doesn't belong to anybody else. Is stored on chain in your secure digital wallet. And that's the other thing that we've already rolled out in Angel AI is a digital wallet on blockchain. It's ready to go. That's why I want you all to come to the North American Blockchain Summit.com in Dallas on November 21st, where I will be presenting with AI and blockchain technology coming together. We've been working on that. We've talked about this for two and a half years already. Been working on it for a long time. It's finally done. It's finally ready to go. And I'll be unveiling it for the first time at the North American Blockchain Summit. We're the title sponsor for it. I got a keynote there right alongside Paul Ryan and Mike Pompeo and all these just incredibly smart people. Which there's rumors that Mike Pompeo might actually end up being the the Secretary of State under the Trump administration again, which would be interesting.
Yeah,
right.
It'd be really fascinating. Yeah. Man, it's an exciting new world. It's an exciting new world. I've got to be there. It's just the day before I fly out for Thanksgiving. I may have to go up to Dallas and change my flight and fly out of there for that, to be there to listen to this. This is amazing. Pavan, Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. I look at what you guys are creating together, and it's an amazing insights into the future. And I know there's many initiatives out there. I found out about it at the end. As a result of our partnership, I had so many people walking up to me, asking me and drilling me with questions about, can this really work? Does this really work? And I can assure them and our listeners, this works. And the important thing is you got to learn, you've got to roll up your sleeve and get familiar with it, listeners. So Pavan, tell us, how does this work?
Yeah, so with ChatGPT coming out 2 years ago, there's been like this gold rush. Every company that was running to AI. It feels very much like in the 90s where every company in the world ran to internet. But then nobody knew exactly how it worked and what to do with it. Right. So unless you have the deep DNA and understanding and ethos of the tech, you could put some stuff on the fringes, but you're never really going to get there. Okay, so you can't just strap on a chatbot. You can't just strap on ChatGPT or something to your legacy loan system. It's not going to work because your legacy loan system has to be AI at the core. For example, like in Jennifer's case of that lender not being able to handle and the disclosure, not being able to generate disclosures correctly, not even be able to take the input from the customer that she's a co-signer, okay? And that means there's a fundamental flaw. That means their system, right? Everything's hardwired. It's not able to learn. I'm sure she's not the first case that they've had where they've had a co-signer.
Co-signer, absolutely not. Yeah.
So that company's been around a long time. So their system is not able to learn as things happen. So if tomorrow another customer comes to them with the same situation as Jennifer, which is a very common situation, that customer will have the exact same problem because it learned nothing from Jennifer's situation. Okay. Yeah. Whereas our technology, okay, it learns constantly. This is a little business rule, right? It would have learned this, I don't know how many years ago, it would have learned this on its own or semi on its own. We're almost to a point. We're almost to a point where it's completely independent at this point. So the way it is that we have these little cells, right? Think about the cells in your brain or the cells in your body. They each work independently, yet they come together to solve big problems. So they make decisions and they do stuff all by themselves, right? And then they generate. It's like mitosis in your body, right? These cells replicate and generate, okay? And they're built from the same DNA. That's that DNA of fair lending, the DNA of expanding wealth across society. That's the DNA that they're built on. They're built on the same DNA. The DNA replicates for every cell that's created, okay? Yet each cell does its own function. And it's just amazing. I see the latest version of this tech in our lab, and it's like watching evolution happen right in front of your eyes. So you see these things generate and create and they learn, and they're like, and it blows your mind. Right. So the rate at which Angel AI can learn is astonishing. It can adapt to new business processes. What would normally, like if you were working with some LOS vendor, if you needed a change, you had a new product, you would get a big bill from them, and you would get a big timeline. Maybe it takes 2 months, 3 months to have analysts, all this stuff, and a release and all this. Instead, here, like it does it in minutes, hours. We had a big release of credit repair, credit boost a couple months ago. First few customers came out with scenarios that we never imagined, legit scenarios we never imagined, and we just guided the AI a little bit, pushed it along, and it generated the sales, and off it goes, and new business processes, new completely out of the box rules are in there so easily, which in a traditional non-AI system would have taken weeks, maybe months to do, and you would have had a big bill from your vendor.
One thing, not only just a big bill and a waiver of liability, right?
Yes.
If there was a bug in the system, there's a waiver of liability, so you will be still responsible to write big fat checks if something went wrong. But Angel AI delivers all that in a fast pace with 100% warranty, right? That is the beauty of Angel AI. There's no waiver of liability there.
Yes, exactly. As these sales learn and make decisions, remember, I put a warranty on everything Angel AI does. So that way the warranty works, if Angel AI tells you something, so if Jennifer had originated her loan with us and said that you can qualify for $10 million, Jennifer, okay, now I'm on the hook at that point. All right, and if she put in the offer for $10 million, purchase and bought a $10 million house, I have to fund that loan. That's my warranty.
Wow, that's bold. That is putting your money where you're behind your technology in a way.
Well, the way I say it, I put my money where Angel AI's mouth is.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a great put it. Jennifer, anything you want to add to that? I think it's your contribution to this podcast has been so good today. I'm so glad you joined us.
It's a pleasure. Again, I can't imagine any operations person being able to run without a technology like Angel AI. I can't imagine how they can be in compliance and do everything without any buybacks. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, if we just take a look at Jennifer's loan, it is a number of problems. It's like I said, her loan is not insurable or it's not deliverable. Right. And I'm pretty sure they delivered it to Fannie.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Or Fannie or Freddie, right? That's just one. No wonder the industry gets flooded with repurchase requests.
Yeah, we've got to solve this. There's so many systemic problems in our industry because of the complexities that we deal with, and you just brought up a really good example of one. But thank you so much, both of you. Final thoughts, Jennifer?
It was a pleasure being here, David. Thank you. And I
always love having you on, Jen. I love having Pavan, but it's wonderful to have you on. Like I love meeting his wife, Pretty. She is just a sweetheart. You are as well. Wonderful people, really smart. I love hanging with really smart people, so it's really a joy to have you here. Pavan, again, thank you. Final thoughts?
Yeah, look at this beautiful Puerto Rico. The sun's coming out again now, and hopefully it's not rain. Hopefully it's not raining on Saturday.
I hope not as well. Thank you so much, both of you being here. Pavan, look forward to seeing you in PR in Puerto Rico.
One last thing for that stupid comedian in that Trump rally. I don't see any garbage back here, guys.
We should have started out with that. Where's all the garbage bags? Yeah. That's so good.
This is not a floating island of garbage. I love Puerto Rico.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate you both being here.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Lickin' on Lending. Our passion is to bring you the latest insights, trends, and updates from the world of mortgages. So on this show, if you're a seasoned industry veteran or just getting started, it's your go-to source for all things mortgage. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back soon. Take care, and we'll see you next time on Lickin' on Lending.